What is up, everyone? It's Kanan.
It's Jessie.
And we are the Geeky Saying Couple, and it's been a while, but welcome to RWBY Retro Reactions. If you're new to the channel, this is pretty much where we rewatch the older volumes of RWBY and give our thoughts on them. We just give our thoughts on what we think about it, in this present day and age, and how certain things in these earlier volumes relate to later volumes and all that good stuff. Plus, it's a way to put the entire series on the channel, since back when a lot of these volumes were airing, the channel didn't exist. So we are, I believe, chapter 9. So meaning after we're doing 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then after that, we've only got 4 episodes to go until we're done with Volume 1. Yay!
These videos, it's also a way to look back and see even little things that you may have missed from even all the time. No matter how much you watch something, you always seem to find something else that connects or could lead to a future thing. So,
and really, this is doing these videos. This is the first time I've really sat down and 100% paid attention to Volume 1. Usually when we put Volume 1 in, and pretty much when we replay it anytime, it's usually just background noise just to have something on. But yeah, so this is Chapter 9. As always, if you guys enjoy our content, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button, leave us a comment, check the description for all that stuff, and now let's go. This is a short episode, 5 minutes and 31 seconds. So here we go. Boy, gosh, it just gets me how dated this really is compared to later volumes. No wonder she couldn't stand RWBY at first. I'd be really mad at that as well.
Now that you're awake, we can officially begin our first order of business. Excuse me? Decorating! What?
Notice all the items that Yang is holding. The pamphlet, Blake's candles, Ruby's headphones.
the pillow.
I always like this look of RWBY. I just think she looks cool here. And notice after only a day, Blake is already loosened up. Such a random painting. Here's our first glimpse at Ninjas of Love. And that
I always love the
and that it is something that she definitely doesn't want anyone to see. For the longest time, I don't know why, I thought she meant to do that. I never noticed that. They didn't do much. And yet they have no room for their beds.
It is a bit cramped. Maybe we should ditch some of our stuff.
Or we could ditch the beds and replace them with bunk beds. That sounds incredibly dangerous.
It really
And
is.
super awesome.
It does seem efficient.
Well, we should put it to a vote. I think we just did.
3 to 1. And yet Weiss does it anyway without any complaining.
Objective complete.
So I just want to point something out here. Weiss is very brave for sleeping under that. Ropes that are holding a bed plus a person. That's incredible. That is.
What are they even attached to?
I guess nails. I don't know. And then Yang sleeps on top, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's even more dangerous. If one of those books slips, it's over. Like, the books would slip while you were climbing into it. So unless Yang is just leapfrogging it up there, I don't know. Those bunk beds always scared me.
That other side of the room would have had a little more room if all Weiss's suitcases weren't there.
Now we have a few classes together.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to be going to school. I love how she was posed like this already. Oh yeah, we've got to go to class.
Class?
Yeah, see, Jean forgot too.
We're gonna be late.
Everyone's got the same running animation. Okay. I have a feeling I would enjoy this class, but he uses it as his own ego trip. See, that should tell him right there it's not working.
From this prestigious academy. Now, as I was saying, Vale, as well as the other 3 kingdoms, are safe havens in an otherwise treacherous world.
That changed quickly after Volume 3.
Nothing more than to tear you to pieces. And that's where we come in. Huntsmen, huntresses.
I never understood why he did this toward Yang.
Individuals who have sworn to protect those who cannot.
It shows more and more that she's not
From what you ask,
impressed.
why, the very world.
Who is this rando who got blessed enough to not be shadowed? Oh, boy.
Tale of a young, handsome man. Me. When I was
I would love to see someone try and draw like doing it like that.
smelling of cabbage.
This-
My grandfather was a wise man.
So he stunk. Cabbages don't smell good, especially cooked cabbage. Ugh. I love that they're sitting in the front row, and he doesn't pay.
Even notice.
Yeah,
Village with the beast in captivity.
and I love how Weiss is getting mad.
Celebrated as a hero. The moral of the
I
story,
guess, but if you look at her paper, how does he not see that? But
must be
if you look at her notes, she has not written a thing down,
Yeah, I know.
and yet she's getting mad solely at Ruby, picking her nose.
so. Who among
She
you
is
believes
fuming.
themselves
And
to be the embodiment
Blake and Yang aren't even looking at him.
I do, sir.
Well then, let's find out. Step forward and face your opponent.
Dun 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 dun. And that's it. That is all that episode is. So really, the point of this episode
Was
is
the ticking time bomb?
well, it's to build that tension that is still there between her and Ruby, and Weiss thinking that she's already the definition of a huntress and all that, when these episodes also kind of show how she's kind of not. But yeah, I just love how Ruby's doing all this stuff. They're sitting in the front row and he doesn't even notice because he's too much into his story. But yeah, you look at Weiss's paper that's sitting there, there's not a thing written on it. And in that last scene, Blake and Yang are staring straight forward, like they're not even animated really. They're just sitting there looking straight forward, not even looking at him. But that's kind of the charm of Volume 1. You notice all these things. So yeah, I mean, this episode really doesn't have a lot of story beats. It's kind of just a little fun episode. It's typical kids being late for the first day of class and stuff like that. Like I always said, Volumes 1 and 2 were very slice of life. Like it could have been your stereotypical school anime. In some cases, it just involves dangerous monsters every now and then. So that was Chapter 9. Let's move on over to Chapter 10. All right, now it's time for Chapter 10, The Badge and the Burden, Part 2. Chapter 9 is called The Badge and the Burden. So yeah, ready to get into it? This one's a little bit longer, 6 minutes and 58 seconds, though that's including the end credits and the intro, so you're looking at about 6:50, somewhere around there. All right, let's get it going.
Go Weiss! Fight well! Yeah, represent Team Ruby! Ruby, I'm trying to focus!
It's so messed up that the only one she calls out is Ruby. That's.
Let the match begin.
I wish I could go to class and watch a student fight a monster during class. Ain't it cute?
Wasn't expecting that, were you?
I like how she's magically in her, like, regular clothes.
It's like, did she bring her change of clothes with her to class? All Ruby is doing is trying to be a supportive leader, and
Well, the thing is,
Now, what will you do without
it also
your weapon?
points out now that you can see, like, she thinks that she's already can be this great huntress, but
There's no armor underneath.
she can't take the support or any distraction. It bothers her. So clearly, she's not ready.
it's Sonic the Hedgehog. Who wants bacon?
Bravo! Bravo!
Grim bacon.
It appears we are indeed in the presence of a true huntress in training. I'm afraid that's all the
But
time
I'm
we
sure
have
that
for
doesn't
today.
help
Be
lower her
alert to
ego
the
right there.
assigned
Poor
duties,
Ruby.
and stay vigilant. Class dismissed.
That'd be a very fun class.
Sheesh, what's with her?
See, even Jean has a clue of that wasn't right.
What? What's wrong with you? Why are you being... What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? You're supposed to be a leader, and all you've been so far is a nuisance. What did I do?
I love that little
You have
eyebrow rise.
nothing to earn your position. Back
I
in the
mean,
chorus, you acted like a child, and you've only continued to do so.
Weiss, where is this coming from?
What happened to all the talk about working together? I thought you believed in acting as a team. Not a team led by you.
Oh,
I've studied.
that is so rough.
And quite frankly, I deserve better.
Wow.
Ozpin made a mistake.
Spoken like a true schnee right there.
Now that didn't seem to go very well.
Is she right? Did you make a mistake?
He's kind of rubbing it in.
That remains to be seen.
Yeah, it's only been a day, Ruby. Look at her, like she's
Professor Port,
she's pouting and
Ah, Miss
everything.
Shanee. And to what do I owe this fine pleasure?
I enjoyed your lecture.
Of course you
Of
did.
what you
Well,
paid
never
attention
one of
to, you were
a
too busy glaring at Ruby for most of it.
Most surely. Something's troubling you.
Yes, sir.
Dear
In a
girl,
way,
you
this is
have to be right.
early
Well,
steps of her character development,
I
really.
the leader of Team Ruby. What do you mean?
I love the silence.
One day.
All you need is
I've
crickets.
made more mistakes than any man, woman, and child. on this
That
earth.
comes back big
At this
time.
moment, I
Ooh.
would not consider your appointment to leader to be one of them. Do you?
Excuse me?
I've believed in Professor Osborn for many years, and the man's never once led me astray.
So you would
Yeah.
just blindly accept his decision even after seeing how exceptional I am?
Golly,
All due
ego.
respect, Your exceptional skill on the battlefield is matched only by your poor attitude.
How dare you?
My point
He's a
exactly.
teacher.
I see a girl before me who has spent her entire life getting exactly what she wanted.
That's not even remotely true. Well,
But-
not entirely true.
Being a team leader isn't just a title.
And you see,
wear.
this is before we really know what kind of rough life Weiss really technically has had, so...
Then what reason do you give others to follow you?
So the outcome did not fall in your favor. Do you really believe that acting in such a manner would cause those in power to reconsider their decision? So instead of fretting about what you don't have, savor what you do. Hone your
So,
skills,
despite being a
perfect your
blowhard,
techniques, and be not the best
Port is actually a very wise man, so...
person you can be.
You've been burdened with a daunting responsibility, Ruby. I advise you take some time to think about how you will uphold it.
Man, that's so much to put on. Like, if you really think about it, they're putting, like, there's so much put on these kids that it's kind of... I can't look at Beacon at night without I would not trust that whatsoever. How can she sleep? It looks like the Emerald City from The Wizard of Oz. It really does. And look, she's been studying.
Weiss,
She threw her pencil and
fell
everything.
asleep. I'm sorry.
This is so nice.
How do you take your coffee? I don't. Answer the question. Cream and 5 sugars.
That's about how I drink coffee. I pretty much turn coffee into milk.
I can't drink coffee.
Thanks, Weiss. Ruby, I think you have what it takes to be a good leader.
After you were put in your place.
Know that I am going to be the best teammate you will ever have.
So this
Good luck studying.
this right here,
That's wrong, by the way.
that's still a little bit old school Weiss, but this right here
I always
is
wanted
kind of a
to study.
glimpse into who Weiss really is.
My gosh, yeah. I always wanted bunk beds as a kid.
Yep. See, that just screams the Emerald City to me, even though it's just a couple of lights. Okay, chapter 10. So, this episode features two things that really, one of them is still ongoing in even up to volume 8, and that's Ruby developing into the kind of leader that Ozpin is kind of talking about there, because a lot of people complained, like in volumes 4 and 5, that Ruby just didn't do a lot. Then in volume 6 is where we really see Ruby turning around. Yeah, a lot of people kind of got tired of the speeches, but she was being a real leader starting in volume 6, and even as far as volume 8, with Yang, her sister, questioning her leadership in a way, which, they make up, and, I don't think Yang really meant most of what she said. That's still an ongoing story arc, even to this day. With Weiss, really, besides the whole anti-Faunus way of talking that she does later in this volume, this episode, in a way, and I mean, she still has an attitude, but it was kind of the end of snooty Weiss in a way.
Because she's never had somebody turn around and just pretty much throw the reality of things.
She ate some crow in this episode.
Yes, and it gives you a look into the, how different the teachers are. I mean, yeah, like how he was in class, but he's a different person outside. Yeah, I'm sure he still shares his stories, but he also is very wise and makes her understand. He could see how she acts, not just by her name, but how she's acting.
Well, some of the best teachers I've ever had, when they're outside of class, you get to know the person. But when they're in class, they're almost like an actor or actress on a stage. You kind of have to put on some kind of act to make learning interesting.
An act mixed with some, like, depending on the subject, some teachers can twist some of their real life things that they know into a lesson to make you understand more, but you never learn about the actual person until they've stepped outside that door.
Yeah, which, I mean, kind of fits with him taking a bow at the end of a story, because, it's kind of a performance in a way. Even though the only thing I took from that whole entire thing, because most of it was blah, blah, blah'd out, is that his uncle smelled like cabbages. Or was it his grandfather? I don't know. But
we haven't seen My Favorite Teacher yet.
That's the next episode, I believe. Or the one after that. I can't remember. But, yeah, this is kind of the end of overly mean Weiss. She still retains her attitude throughout the rest of Volume 1, especially toward the end of Volume 1 with what she says about the White Fang and the Faunus.
But the snootiness is, like...
thinking she's better than everybody kind of ends.
That's kind of gone, because just and then really I know there's some people like, well, it wouldn't happen that fast. Actually, you'd be surprised for somebody like Port to turn around and pretty much blatantly just tell her the
You're
truth.
being a brat.
Yeah, just straight out tell her, in a way that she'd understand. It could make her see, okay, maybe, obviously, maybe I shouldn't be that way. I need to think of things a little bit differently than just myself. So,
in other words, what we're saying is, even though it's really subtle at this moment, this is leading off to Weiss becoming the better person that she becomes later in volumes 4, 5, and throughout the rest of the series.
And exactly what she told her to be, the best partner she'll ever have.
Yeah. So that was chapter 10. Let's move on to chapter 11. All right, chapter 11, which is the beginning pretty much of the whole Jean story in volume 1. It's called Jaundice. Poor Jean. They named an episode.
It's very close to the name of a
disease, pretty much. This is one of the very short episodes. 4 minutes and 50. Could you imagine if the episode volume 9 came out at 4 minutes and 50 seconds? Boy, it was a different time back then. So, let's get going. Carden. A small little antagonist for Jean, which he's named after the man that burned Joan of Arc at the stake. So, it's kind of understanding that they would,
Twist something like this together.
yeah, to be like enemy for Jean.
This is the part where you lose.
Over my dead.
Oh no, that was a cheap shot. It really. But then again, he did leave his guard down. He was really going to hit him. As we can see, Jean didn't get a single blow.
In a tournament-style duel, this would indicate that John is no longer fit for battle, and that the official may call the match. Mr. Ark, it's been
Yeah, she was watching
Please
Jean.
try to refer to your scroll during combat, gauging your aura
Just
will
like
help
she
you
still
decide
is
when to
now.
attack the
Ugh.
attack, or when it is
Pyrrha.
better to move to a more defensive strategy. We wouldn't want you to be gobbled up by a Beowulf, now would we?
Oh man, come on, Glenn. That was a little.
Remember, everyone,
Right in front of everybody, Glenda.
only a few
Seriously.
months away. It won't be long before students from the other kingdoms start arriving in Vale, so keep practicing. Those who choose to compete
Blake
in the
decided
combat
not to show
tournament
up.
will be representing all of Vale.
What's so funny about the Shadow People is it's like they're the only real students going there.
There we
Oh,
go.
Nora's story. Yay.
Of the night.
It was day.
We were surrounded.
I love how Yang is like just all into it and she's ignoring Ren.
Two of 'em.
But they were no match. And in the end, Ren and I
Wife's
put
doing her
them
nails.
down and made a boatload of Lien selling Ursa's skin rugs.
She's been having this recurring dream for nearly a month now.
John, are you okay?
And she still thinks it really happened.
Oh, yeah. Why?
Hey, some dreams are like that.
You seem a little...
Despite it being volume 1, I like how fluid Ruby is right there. Like I
Fine. Seriously. Look.
poor Velvet. I hate that this is how she's introduced in the series.
School. Who? Carden Winchester? Ah, he just likes to mess around, you know. Practical jokes.
He's a bully.
Dun dun dun.
Name
Well,
one time
watch this.
he's bullied me.
His quotations didn't move at all. And what's this? I will admit this is kind of funny. It kind of is.
Each of you will be assigned one
This is kind of Looney Tunes in a way. This
Yeah,
reminds me of
makes
something.
me think
Your
of
locker
something in
can be set
Space
to a
Jam.
custom location based on a 6-digit code.
The original
And
one.
like when the lockers go off, is there an opening in the roof, or do they just go make a hole in the roof? I bet Beacon spends a lot on roof repairs.
Far from the school.
John, you know if you ever need help, you can just ask.
We'll break his legs.
And I think she's serious.
It's fine. Besides,
Now, of course, a lot of people have asked why didn't the rest of Team Coffee come help poor Velvet. Mostly like they weren't even thought of yet.
That, or if you could think about it, maybe they're off doing something.
I don't know. But in the mangas, it did show Coco and them beating up Carden and them for messing with Velvet.
The only one. It must be hard to be a Faunus.
Ooh, a little moment there showing that Yang does not think any differently about Faunus than anything else. And that is it. That is it for that episode.
And then there's Velvet.
Yeah, there's Velvet. First episode, I believe, that Velvet was first shown off in. Kind of also a way to show how Faunus are treated by some humans. But yeah, not a big moment, but a little Bumblebee moment there of Blake looking at Yang when Yang shows that she does have sympathy for the Faunus and all that. So, you know, maybe not a big moment, or maybe it doesn't really mean anything, but it's still to keep in mind, you know, because of what happens between those two later on in the series. But this very short episode, but it's pretty much to build up Jean's character for what, you know, he goes through eventually, because like I said, a lot of people didn't like that Jean got so much attention in Volume 1, but him being a secondary protagonist, he kind of needed something. It's the same way with Ren and Nora later in Volume 4, because they got a big focus on in Volume 4.
But since Team Juniper is their secondary protagonist, I mean, then yes, it only makes sense for them, especially since they have big roles moving forward. So it would make sense, especially needing to see, because each person that we've seen focused on between Ruby and Juniper, there's a key reason as to why. I mean, like John, since we're going through John, I mean, you learn of, he cheated his way in pretty much. So,
that's the next episode.
Yeah, but it's just the point that, like, where everyone came from and how they're advancing through it, which definitely connects very well to the future, because, I mean, you look at him here and look at him now. Like,
and it's also...
it's such a growth for him.
Well, and it's also there to, get Arcos going, because this is what leads eventually into Pyrrha giving him extra lessons and all that to get him more caught up.
Plus the glimpse into how some faunists are treated by humans.
Well, yeah.
I know that. I'm just touching back up on that.
All right, but yeah, very, very short episode. So let's get to Chapter 12. All right, last episode of this episode of Retro RWBY, Chapter 12, Jaundice Part 2. Bit longer than the last one, 7 minutes and 25 seconds. So yeah, Jean's struggles continue. Let's get on with it. Here's your favorite teacher. So I love history. History class was always my favorite. I wanted to be a history teacher at one point. But I couldn't keep up with his class, because he is just... Look, half the students aren't even taking notes.
Now, have any of you been subjugated or discriminated because of your faunus heritage?
I wonder how Blake felt right here, not raising her arm, because she's...
Dreadful, simply dreadful. Remember, students,
Poor Velvet.
it's precisely this kind of ignorance that breeds violence. I mean, just look at what happened to the White Fang. Now, which one of you young scholars can tell me what many theorists believe to be the turning point in the 3rd year of the war? Yes.
The battle at Fort Castle?
Precisely. And who can tell me the advantage the Faunus had over General Lagoon's forces?
Who knew that paper footballs existed in RWBY?
Finally contributing to class. This is excellent, excellent.
How is him wake...
What is the answer?
He is so...
The answer... The advantage the Faunus had over that guy's stuff.
That guy's stuff.
Binoculars.
To John's credit, that does look like what... Pyrrha could have done a better job for him
She
there.
was trying to do this, and he wasn't catching on.
But this didn't help.
Well, I know it's a lot easier to train an animal than a soldier.
You're not the most open-minded of individuals, are you, Cardin?
What? You got a problem?
No, I have the answer.
She would kick
It's
your
night
butt.
vision. Many faunus are known to have nearly perfect sight in the dark.
General Lagoon was inexperienced and made the mistake of trying to ambush the faunus in their sleep. His massive army was outmatched, and the general was captured. Perhaps if he'd paid attention in class, he wouldn't have been remembered as such a failure.
You ain't gonna do anything.
Please take your seat.
Both of them would take you.
You and Mark could both see me after class for additional readings.
Oh, that's such a rotten feeling.
Moving on.
I never had to do it, but I'm guessing it would be a
You
very...
go on ahead. I'll wait for Jean.
Was Nora doing a dance there? That's what it looked...
Now, I don't know if it's a lack of interest or just your stuff.
Forgot again. He's so...
Yeah, his shirt's...
Half his shirt's on top now.
Yeah.
It's hard to gain entrance to the school, and we only accept the best of the best. So, I expect you to act like it. History is important, gentlemen. If you can't learn from it, you're destined to repeat it. Pages 51 to 91. I want an essay on my desk by next class.
51 to 91. That's 40... And he's gone before they are. Such a punk.
You know, I really will break his legs.
And she would have.
She looked like she almost did.
Here, come with me.
Look, she's so strong, she just whips him around the corner. It's a dark joke, but I still think it's kind of fun. I don't know.
Pyrrha, I know I'm going through a hard time right now, but I'm not that depressed. I can always be a farmer or something.
No!
That animation. That animation.
John, I know
And look, you can see Cardin's blockhead sitting down
and
there.
that you're still not the
It took me a
strongest
while to
fighter,
notice that.
So
Yeah.
I want to help you.
What?
What?
Can you up here after class where no
That's
one
exactly what it
bothers
is. Like, what?
Think I need help?
No,
Yeah,
no. that's
you
not what I
do,
meant.
John. Admit it.
You just said it.
John, everybody needs a little push from time to time. It doesn't
Yep.
make you any different from the rest of us. You made it to Beacon. That speaks volumes of what you're capable of.
You're wrong. I don't belong here.
That's a terrible thing to say. Of course you do.
No, I don't.
Here's where he spills the beans.
I wasn't really accepted into Beacon.
What do you mean?
I mean, I didn't go to combat school, I didn't pass any tests, I didn't earn my spot at this academy. I lied. I got my hands on some fake transcripts, and I lied.
What?
I want to know where he got the transcripts. Like, where would John have gotten
My
those?
father, my grandfather, and his father before him were all warriors. They were all heroes. I wanted to be one too.
Then why didn't you train?
Just
And
not good enough.
He may not have had anybody
Let
to
me
train him.
help you.
I
maybe.
don't want help. I don't want to be the damsel in distress. I want to be the hero.
John,
I'm tired of being the lovable idiot stuck in the tree while his friends fight for their lives. Don't you understand?
Sadly,
I
he
can't do this
never.
on my own.
Sadly, he never got out of that shadow because he still gets the short end of the stick a lot of times.
Just
But he has
leave
grown
me
as a
alone,
character since these days.
okay?
if that's what you think is best.
Remember, in Volume 8, when Yang said to John that she was sorry for what Ren said, John said it's okay. I used to push people away too. And in our reaction, I brought up Pyrrha, and it's exactly right here. Okay. Poor Pyrrha. She's so crazy about the guy, and she doesn't realize it at all.
Oh, Jean.
Look at him being Mr. Spider-Man.
I couldn't help but overhear you two from my dorm room. So, you snuck into Beacon, huh? I gotta say, Jean, I never expected you to be such a rebel.
Please, Cardin, please don't tell anyone.
Jean, come on. I'd never ratted a friend like that.
Oh, yeah.
A friend?
Blackmail.
We're friends now, Johnny boy. And the way I see it, as long as you're there for me when I need you, we'll be friends for a long time. That being said, I really don't have time to do those extra readings Dr. Ublik gave us today.
In other words, you don't have time to even do
Heard
any
that
kind of
for me,
schoolwork.
buddy? That's what I thought. Don't worry, Jean. Your secret's safe with me.
Okay. And there's your favorite teacher again. All right. So,
I probably wouldn't be able to focus in that class, but it'd still be my favorite class. I'd never fall asleep.
okay, so I still see people say, you know, what was the point of Cardin? You know, like, why did he just disappear? And I mean, really, at the end of the day, he was just a small antagonist for John to get around. I don't think he was ever meant to be anything other than that.
No, it was pretty much, yeah, like you said, small antagonist. But the thing is it was definitely a way for John to see that, yeah, he really does have it in him to even take out someone as small as Cardin, like just a bully.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, oh, well, that's little. No, that's the first step in something.
Well, yeah.
If you can't,
You
if
gotta,
you think you
gotta
can't,
start off small.
especially with the confidence that John doesn't have. This is perfect for him to move forward. So,
Also, like I said, it's starting to build Arcos a little bit. This goes all the way to volume 8, where John said he used to push people away too. I mean, he literally did it to Pyrrha at one point. I've always wondered while watching this episode, Blake's sitting in that classroom, and have you ever been discriminated because of you being a faunus? And she doesn't raise her hand because she's hiding. Like, I've always wondered what is going through Blake's head this whole entire class, because
she's probably like, yes,
yeah,
all the time.
But and I think Carden's comment, it's easier to train an animal than a soldier. I'm sure her little dig at the end was revenge for that.
Yeah.
And then he stands up like he's going to do something. Please, Blake and Pyrrha could run circles around him. Which we never learned what his I don't think we've ever learned what his semblance is.
I don't think so.
But then again, after this little arc with John, he's really never focused on ever again. But
because he gets his ass handed to him.
Yeah, pretty much. So that is the end of this episode of RWBY Retro. Next episode will be 13, 14, 15, and 16, I believe. That'll be the end of Volume 1. Hopefully it won't take us 4 months to get it done. But, with Volume 9 still not having a premiere day, this was pretty much to fill in until Volume 9 releases. So who knows? We might have plenty of time to get the rest of them done. Who knows? But hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button, leave us a comment. As always, guys, this is Kanan.
This is Jessie.
We love you all very, very much. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.